Hello everyone, welcome to Kyber interview. I'm Thomas Ho, founder and CEO of Kyber Capital. We're joined today by the founder of one of the most phenomenal startup in the blockchain world, OwlTing. Darren Wang, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Thomas.
So we understand that recently OwlTing has announced a very comprehensive platform called OwlTing Blockchain Service, which is an infrastructure servicing various industries and applying blockchain technology to addressing their needs. So can you tell us a little bit more about what is OBS platform does?
Okay, so we started the blockchain project around, I think 3 years ago. And the first project we started with is the food provenance project. We want to focus the traceability and then bring the food safety to the food industry. And then in the same time, we also started another project called OwlNest. So OwlNest is a project that's focusing to the global hospitality industry that's solving the overbooking problems. The problem has been in the industry for around 2 decades, but never been solved by the real giant players in the industry. So we kind of spent around, I think, 3 years to figure out how do we rebuild the ecosystem and the real applications that's focusing in the food industry and then for the hospitality industry. And then I think with 3 years experience in building those projects, we figured the same needs applies to all the industry in the world. So OBS is the project that we combine all the blockchain applications together in one platform, and then we build the applications instead of the architect for different industry.
So let's take hospitality industry as an example.
Yes.
We understand that it's a big market.
Yes.
Right? Every year, global travelers spend trillions of dollars.
Exactly. Yes.
Booking hotels, buying tickets, or going to the shows, all that kind of stuff combined. And yet you mentioned that this is a very old industry as well.
Yes.
With various old ways of doing business that have never been changed,
yes,
probably for decades. So give us a little bit more sense of what those problems are, and especially for those facing your clients, the clients of OwlNest and OBS. Exactly what kind of solutions are you providing them, and that will address their pain points and help them realize better results on their businesses.
Okay, so the travel industry for hospitality is very tradition. For example, if you want to run a hotel, you need to buy a property management system. We call it P&S to build your inventory. And then second, you need to have a website, and the website you need to have a booking engine to sell your hotel rooms to the customers. And then we also know that we got a lot of information from, for example, Google, from TripAdvisor, from Skyscanner, all those big players, they call OTA or meta search companies. All the information is not coming directly from the hotel themselves. Instead, they provide the information from third-party software solutions called Channel Manager. So hotel owners, they give the partial of the inventories to Channel Manager, and then Channel Manager sell their inventory to the OTAs, for example, Expedia, Agoda, Booking.com. And all those information is communicating with API to between OTA and Channel Manager. But Channel Manager, they didn't process the real-time inventory for the P&S. And then because Channel Manager industry is a very traditional industry that's using the traditional database technology. For example, the traditional database, they didn't synchronize or update their inventory status by every second. But blockchain instead, they update their ledger and the inventory status by every transaction. So in the nature, that makes a huge difference for building the solutions. And then because another reason for OTA is the APIs for OTA and then channel manager, sometimes they broke. They cannot maintain the 100% accuracy and the live rate. So if there's any mistake during the downtime, for example, 10 minutes, and then that cause the possibilities to overbookings to the hotel owners. And then I think the reason behind that is because the problem is not facing to customers. It's channel manager, P&S company, and the OTS has been a very weird, triangle relationship. So always they push the problems to each other, and then the people who suffer from the problem is the hotel owners. So we want to solve the problems by providing a real-time inventory status to OTAs, to meta search companies. Yes.
So it sounds like a classical example of lack of coherence and synchronization and coordination among various service providers.
Exactly.
Because of lack of incentive or the lack of proper technology. Now, what OwlTing begs to differ is that you're providing a new infrastructure connecting the vendors and the users and the consumers with this decentralized blockchain infrastructure. However, you do not offer like those tokenizing incentive as some of those ICO promoters are trying to do in the past 2 years. So what makes you choose this strategy as opposed to using tokens as an incentive to encourage users to come into the ecosystem and help solve whatever problem that the industry faces?
Okay, so the first answer is I am an engineer. I study encryption and mathematical theories from my Russian professors. So we always care about the fundamentals. Solving the fundamentals can bring you fortune. This is my theory for starting a company. And then because I am very familiar with the theory and then technology, this is the reason why I don't want to sell crypto or tokens to customers, because I don't want to cheat people by telling them, hey, in the future you can use those kind of token to book hotel rooms directly. In the theory, you need to solve problems for someone, not to sell something people doesn't need in the future. So I don't want to lie to myself or learn from others to make quick fortune. So I really want to solve the problems by helping people.
And the problem right now facing the industry is the lack of system, the proper system or proper ways of coordinating those inventory between upstream and downstream providers. So now OwlTing provides a solution. Sounds like a SAS model, right?
Yes, exactly.
So how many customers do you have right now? And then do you foresee the booking revenue coming through OwlNest to grow exponentially? And then would that be a very good profit generator, not only just for yourself, also for those hotel owners?
Okay, so I think in the next 2 or 3 months, our hotel or B&B rooms number will exceed over 10,000 rooms.
10,000 rooms?
Yes, because we charge the owners by how many rooms per month. So we actually calculated our revenue from the real SAS model. So I think this is a very important step for us because as a Taiwan technology company, we need to build something for global market. And then after I study and analyze the problems for the global hospitality industry, I figure the global hotels sell their rooms by very few platforms. For example, Booking Group, Expedia Group, Citrix Group. that takes up to I think 80% to 90% of the global OTA's numbers. So I think everyone, no matter you are a hotel owners in Taiwan or United States, Europe, all the problems is the same. We need to solve the real-time inventory problems for hotel owners. We want to prevent the double booking problems, and so we don't suffer from losing money by the incorrect inventory problems. So this is the common problems we see in the global hospitality industry. That's why I think it's worth us for to use the blockchain technology to solve the problem.
So no overbooking sounds like no double spending in cryptocurrencies, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then, so if you look at the overbooking problem, it's not just in the hotel industry, but also in aviation, yes, or in any other industry that has a finite number of inventories to manage. So do you expect the OwlTing blockchain service to be applied to not only the travel industry, but also to other industries that because of lack of proper technology and system to coordinate, to manage the inventory, they will benefit from this?
Exactly, yes. I think the current technology, all the retailers or aviation industry, they have the same problems. You cannot sell your tickets or your product just on your own website. You need to cross-sell all your inventory, your product to different channels to the global customers. I think that's the problems for all kinds of industry right now. For example, IKEA, they have offline store, they have online store. But for example, if I want to buy something from the store nearby, I need to make a phone call to IKEA to make sure they have the enough inventory for office. Yeah, but the inventory we saw on the IKEA website, they are not synchronizing by every minute, every hour. I think they synchronize by two times a day.
So in other words, that OwlNest technology will be able to help businesses to manage their inventory level more precisely.
Exactly.
And that the consumers and their buyers of those inventories will be able to have a better tell, yes, of what the actual business conditions are.
Exactly.
When they look at those inventory numbers reported, whether it's on the website or in some kind of a database. And you need blockchain technology to synchronize all of that, yes, to create trust for markets to participate.
For example, we also have travel agencies in Taiwan, and then so we figure all the problems for inventory right now, we need to hire people to solve the problems. For example, we sell 20 kayak trips in Japan. We need to make a phone call or email to the Japan suppliers to make sure they have the enough inventory for a certain date, and then for 20 kayak trips. But imagine if you are a supplier yourself, you sell your trips to global, travel agencies. It's very difficult for you to maintain the, real-time inventory to all the suppliers. For example, you sell like 50 kayak trips, but you cannot just tell everyone suppliers, hey, on certain date, I already sell 50 kayak trips. So right now we don't have enough inventory to sell to all of you. So blockchain is the architect that can solve the universal inventory problems to all the industry. So that's why we figured, hey, this is something very unique, and then something we didn't think about before. And then right now we can build it as an application provide to all kind of industry players.
So another example would be supply chain finance, yes, which you mentioned that you have various success stories, yes, with craft farmers and some local agricultural production collectives. What made you think that blockchain technology can help these small and medium-sized farmers in local markets? And what motivated you to apply these new technology to such an old community?
Okay, so my grandfather, he's a fisherman.
Okay.
So I was born in a fisherman's village when I grew up. So down to earth, I really want to help those people who need the new technologies. So I think that's the reason behind those efforts. And then another reason I figure is, for example, agriculture or food industry is something very big. Those industries are $1 trillion business that usually normal people ignore that. Yeah. But every day we need to eat. We need to feed our children. And then when you buy a package of rice or pork to your table, the meat or the rice, they actually come from a very complicated supply chains that become a product and then enable you to buy the product to your home. So I think that's the reason I think blockchain is very useful to connect all those complicated supply chains. All the information will be provided as a trusted data. And all those trusted data can become useful information to the whole industry. For example, we provide an IoT devices for the logistic company. They can update all those real-time temperature data to the blockchain. And then the insurance company can actually become the ledger and then become one of the nodes that's running the same ledger together. And then with the accurate data uploaded by the logistic trucks, the company, the insurance company, they will have a reliable data, and they trust the data, so they are willing to do the insurance for this package of goods. For example, if that's a very high expensive red wine shipping from the French to Asia, this is something very useful information to the insurance company. And then this is also very beneficial to the winery, because as a winery owners, all you can ensure is the quality of the wine, that's prepare and then ship out to other countries. But after you deliver your wine to logistic company, you don't know the quality of the shipping, because you cannot check or you cannot ship with the airline companies. So I think this is something important. We need to know the data, so we know who's being responsible for those goods during the shipping process.
So one very touching story that I know that OwlTing has done before is to help local farmers, rice farmers, to sell to the world and increase their sales volume tremendously by applying not only blockchain technology but also IoT technology.
Exactly.
And combined together to prove that these rice farmers' quality is very good, and so that the whole world can tell, on a very decentralized and yet trusted blockchain, that these rice are worthy of your time to buy. Why do you want to do this? Because sometimes we hear a lot of those technology companies, they're trying to get into agriculture, and yet they never get this far in touching or connecting with real local farmers.
I think the main reason is, I'm the grandson for a fisherman. So I think deep in my heart, I really want to do this. I don't know the result. I don't foresee the tremendous sales growth for the rice farmers, but I think this is a very good example to prove the quality of his rice. And then so we spent a year. We planted the IoT devices into the farm, and then we uploaded all the data collected from the farm, the weather conditions uploaded from the farm. And then in the future, we want to invite the insurance company to join as one of the ledger that's running the same trusted ledger, blockchain ledger, and then they will provide a very accurate data and insurance policy to the farmers. So I think, and then we are very lucky to be reported by Financial Times as well, because we didn't do anything for the press. I think the main reason I want to do this is I think this young man needs some help from the technology company. Then he's willing to work with us to upload the very complicated process when you grow the rice and you finish and send it to the rice mill, and then from the rice mill to the retailers to the logistic company. All those complicated process is a very precious data to us, and then we just want to prove the supply chain data is very useful to other industries, but we never figure out it will become a sudden success to this farmer, and then so we are very happy for him.
Other than rice, what are other products that have used OwlTing's blockchain to prove their supply chain and to prove their quality?
Okay, so I think for the food we have soy sauce, and then we have pork, and then we are bringing in milk as well. And I think for other regions, we want to provide the solutions to government levels. So, and then we also want to sell the solutions to the global, for example, tomato companies, which is also an amazing tool to prove their quality of products.
So all those products will be available on your e-commerce website?
Yes.
And how many items are there right now?
I don't really know, but I think we have over 2,000 farmers just in Taiwan. So each farmers provides more than 10 items in the e-commerce market. So I think we have at least 20,000 items in the e-commerce market. Yes.
So the blockchain as a phenomena is getting a lot of traction globally, primarily because it has this power to combine financial capital and technology capital together and create new stuffs. That seems to be your vision. Right? You wanted to create a technology company in Taiwan that can go to the global market and create very different stuffs, hopefully to the benefits of mankind. And is that the vision that attracts the SBI Holding, which is a leading fintech investor in Japan, to invest in OwlTing? That was last year, right?
Yes. Okay. So I have a super big vision for the blockchain industry, but none of them is related to the cryptos. I think in the future, our world will be running on the blockchain ecosystem. For example, transactions, equals to e-commerce to me, So that's why when we want to build a transaction platform, we need to have an inventory system, right? So when we have a real-time inventory, we can connect the payment, or we call cash flow, to the ecosystem. So this is a super huge vision that's rare people understand, and it takes you 5 to 10 years to build out the vision. And then I think I am very lucky to be acknowledged and then invested by the SBI Group Chairman Kitao-san. I just spent I think 3 to 5 minutes to briefly tell him my vision,
and he bought it,
and then instantly bought it. This is a very inspiring stories that I never have in my life.
So after the investment, obviously SBI and OwlTing will have multiple collaboration opportunities ahead of you. Can you share with us, what are the projects that you guys have already worked on, and what kind of a future opportunities that will be created out of this collaboration, and why that fit your vision for taking OwlTing to the next level?
Okay, so in the last 18 months, we have bring the Owlness solutions to global B&B and hotel owners. And then based on the application level, we want to bring in the fintech service with SBI in the future. But I cannot disclose too much at the moment. But I think with the ecosystem that's facing different industry, for example, hospitality, aviation, logistics, manufacturing, and then even medical, biotech. All those things need fintech service in the end. So this is something very huge, and in the history of technology, I don't remember any big technology company that's working very closely to a financial giant. Usually, technology company want to beat the financial companies, and the financial company want to, keep their ball in the ballpark, and then they don't want others to play in the ballpark.
And so now that we have a very unique combination of a technology startup and a very successful financial incumbent player,
yes.
Working together to create a new world.
Yes.
Is that the tagline that you want to use to go to the public market? Is that how you plan, that you wanted to take the company public, and then use the public equities support to continue to expand this vision and serve the global markets?
Exactly. From the tractions we already have in the last 18 months, I am very confident, that the vision is becoming realities. So right now we want to bring the solution to global, and then with the combination between our company and the SBI Group in the future, I believe this is a super huge ecosystem we are building together, and then everything is running on blockchain.
Coming from a very humble background,
yes.
then growing up in Taiwan, and then going to the United States for study, and then working and then founding your own businesses and become a successful entrepreneur, and also an angel investor. Now you're taking your own company public,
yes.
Hopefully within the next 2 years. Now this is such a very inspirational story to not only young people in Taiwan, but also to the world, especially in those corners where the traditional venture capital investors
yes.
Tend to ignore. What would be your success stories or success tips that you'd like to share with this aspiring young people? If they want to be as successful, even more successful than what you have already achieved, what should they do?
I think there's no any like a cheating sheet. You just need to work very, very hard, because I coming from a normal background with a normal family, so I understand that everything is counting on yourself. But you can always dream big, and then but to build a dream, you need every effort of your life in every minute. And then that's why I work so hard in the past 15 years to accomplish and then chase my dream. And then I think with the right timing, you will meet people in your life. They will help you and change your life. And then this is my real story. So I think the only tip is you need to just working very hard. But working hard didn't ensure success. It's different stories. But the only tip is you need to work very hard. And when the timing arrives, you you need to make sure yourself is prepared. Then this is something I want to share to the young people.
And so work hard, be prepared, and hopefully the good things will come.
Yes.
And you need to grab it.
I never, count on my hope or dream on other people. I know that the only people that can help you to finish or chase your dream is yourself. I think this is a strong belief, to myself. And then, but I appreciate people that's willing to help me during the process. I think this is very difficult for people because usually people they help you when you are success, but when you are nobody want to help you.
But that seems to be the different experience that OwlTing so far has got tremendous help and tremendous support from a lot of capable investors and partners.
Yes.
So we look forward to the day when you're going to ring the bell in New York when OwlTing is going public.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Okay. See you next time.